Run, river, run, run through the hills. Run, river, run to the sea. Run, river, run to your place beneath the sun. Run, river, run over me. Run through the land you run.
Hi, welcome to Be My Guest. We have from Chelmsford today an encore appearance by one of our favorite authors, Ursula Wong. Ursula, welcome back.
Thank you.
We had a miscommunication where I got I was out, we were here, and I got a miscommunication, and it said, Jan, I'm over here at the studio. So the poor thing, she drove all the way over here that day. It worked out just fine. She's
Life
a good
goes on.
sport, a very good sport. Ursula is the author of, well, she's actually the author of the part compiled with these authors of the Insanity Tales 3 Seasons of Shadow. Can you zero in on these, Paul? Now, I've got, of course, I get to read them before you do. Insanity Tales 3 Seasons of Shadow. You've got all three of them on here, right?
It's a three-book
These are the three
series.
books. And downstairs they'll be able to pick up the next one, right?
They
And the
will.
the author's wall. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 authors who have contributed to the stories in here, right?
Yes.
And of course, Ursula is one of them. And even the front page with that spooky eye. Who picks out this front page?
We all pick out the eye. We're on an eye theme.
I love it, because it sells it all, doesn't it? Forward by Pierre Comtois. Who is Pierre?
Pierre is a local writer in the Lowell area. He's been around forever. He does anthologies himself, but he's a professional writer. He's been writing dark fiction for a long time, very edgy, very horror-bound.
Yeah.
And
so he knows all about this stuff.
Yes, and he was kind enough to do an introduction for us, yeah.
Before we go any further, you wanted to share some things with you brought.
Yes, I was so pleased. We went into a second printing with a World War II thriller,
Ooh.
Amber Wolf.
Yeah.
And I'm so pleased about this. We have a new cover, a new look, and it's exactly the same story, but it's fresh and brand new, and we're excited with the second printing.
Is it out now? It's out, right?
It is out, available on Amazon and Barnes & Noble online, Kobo.
And will it be downstairs as well?
It is downstairs.
Oh,
yes.
well, you're going to get a double whammy winner here. She's going to have her Insanity Tales 3 and then the Amber Wolf one. Paul, did you want me to hold it up again? Insanity Tales 3? It's down here too, but we get this for all it's worth. It is one heck of a cover. And hold yours up too. There we go. So be looking for those. Those are some colors, let me tell you, with the eyeball and then the beautiful orange and yellow and green and
Yes.
Amber Wolf.
The Lithuanian flag.
Oh yeah, this is absolutely gorgeous. Now you had some other things to tell us about. You won an award recently. Didn't you get one?
I was named to the Seven Bridge Writers Collective as the on the board.
Yeah.
And that's a great local writers organization, Seven Bridge Writers
I
Collective.
haven't heard of it. Where is it located?
It's in Lancaster, but it services the broader central Massachusetts area. And look them up on the web. They had the Seven Bridge website.
Lancaster. I've been up there. My son was at a private school up there.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
And I remember going all the way up, Route 70 through Clinton.
I believe it's 70, yeah.
How far is that from Chelmsford?
It's a little bit of a schlep,
Yeah.
but it's a good organization. They provide free Saturday seminars to writers. They have many review sessions where you can bring your work and other, for peer review. Critique sessions. They have some courses. We're experimenting with mini courses come September. Mm-hmm. And in this, the premise here is that the free Saturday course, which is always 10:30, one a month, will be followed up with an intensive course. And we'll ask, for a modest stipend for students to come to that. But
how many attend? Is it pretty well attended?
It varies, but I've seen, 40, 50 people at some of the sessions. Some are a little bit more modest.
Where do they meet up?
Generally at the Saylor Library.
Oh, I've been in there, sure.
Yeah, the beautiful old library, yeah.
Yeah, very. And Clinton has one too. I know on the way to my son's school, I remember going, I won't miss a library if I can help it, so I'd stop in, and I remember that there library. Is that the one with a Is there a town common, right?
There is. There's a U turnabout, a U-shaped road right in front of the library, and there's I believe it's a town hall, the library, and a church right there on that U.
Yeah.
And but they offer a tremendous amount of services for the community.
Are you doing presentations there with all your books? Oh, good.
Absolutely.
Okay, you're getting.
Absolutely.
Where have you been appearing lately?
I've been at the Saylor Library. I've done Chelmsford TV with Dean Cantover, a show, and I did some live radio on Lowell, and then Manchester Radio 107 FM, and just been skidding around.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Good. Tell us now about Insanity Tales 3.
Insanity Tales 3. So these are a collection of dark stories. So it's horror is a very, very broad thing.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
I mean, there's
suspense.
There's suspense, but there's vampire. There's a blood element. There's other horror, which is more psychological horror. Maybe some monsters, but really the human aspect of horror.
Yeah.
How do people react to a horrible situation? So Insanity Tales is more about the psychological drama.
Yeah.
So one of the stories, for example, is about a young girl who has a very strange relationship with bees.
Yes, with the bees.
With the bees.
Ooh.
Yeah, and Stacy Longo, that was Rob Smale's story, A.B. And Stacy Longo has a story in there. You've met Stacy.
Yes,
she
I have.
has a story about every dieter's nightmare, and that is eating vegetables and gaining weight.
Yeah.
And
How can you
it's
do that?
posed as a horror story, of course.
Yeah, definitely. What did Stacy? What was her? Oh, you told me.
Ordinary Boy.
Ordinary Boy.
Yeah.
She must. Has she got anything new out now?
She and Rob Smales are working on a novel. I haven't
Okay.
seen it yet, but
Okay.
I'm
In
looking
tandem,
forward
they're working.
to it.
Okay.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
There's a great. The Worcester Writers Consortium, is it down over? Well, obviously in Worcester. We tried to film in there. They were in a cafe, and it was so noisy. I interviewed a lot of the authors of but it just was. It didn't come through.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah, it was, because it was very well attended. They go in, they chat for a while, then they spend an hour quietly working whatever they're doing, then they come back in and they chat again. It was kind of neat, but I wish the sound had been down a number of decibels.
Yeah.
So now,
Some other writers are
Yeah.
David Daniels and Vlad V. So that is our collection of members for these.
Vladimir, that's spooky sounding, you're from Transylvania. I've never met Vlad or David or Bob, I don't think. Now, please forgive me if maybe many, years ago I met him, but that's 1, 2, 3, that's 5 authors collaborating on a book. Did you all sit down together, you just wrote on your own and then brought it?
We wrote on our own. So we each contributed 2 stories to the anthology. And of course, we all reviewed the stories and edited the stories and so forth. So we collaborated on the polishing of and production of everybody's story. And that's what we do in the story side. The story side is the publishing company that took care of this, and we own that publishing company, so we are the story side.
Oh, that is wonderful. So many new authors will say to me, what's the best way to go? And I'll say, well, if you don't want to wait a year and be rejected, get out there and self-publish or go to a smaller, little
Small
something
press,
like that,
yeah.
and you wouldn't have to wait, and you can choose your cover. That bothers a lot of authors that, if I give it away to a big publishing company, they take away your right to do your own cover.
Yeah, I did a course in Lancaster on publishing, writing and publishing in February, and that was the one, we spent a lot of time discussing that, copyright law and, how you are paid, how the writer is paid, who takes their cuts. If your book is on Amazon, Amazon takes the cut.
Yeah.
And agents, how agents are paid and so forth, all of that really diminishes what you can get as a writer. And furthermore, you don't control how long your book is available to readers.
Yeah.
And that can be very damaging to your, your point of view as you go forward.
And also, they drop it. I mean, they're not acting. I work as a publicist too, and they're not going to get you out there. They're going to take care of publishing it, and that's it, that part. But they're not going to be the one to help you schedule to appear all these different places. So I'm telling them, you got a choice. You can go that way, and a lot of your control is taken away, and you're going to have to find a publicist to do it on your own.
True.
A lot of them starting out. Were you up at the Danversport at the Expo?
No, I didn't go this year.
I didn't make it this year. Didn't make it this year, but I love it there. I just love it in there. The big ballroom.
Chris Oberst does a great job.
He does.
Yeah.
He does. I don't know how many. 150. I think were there. Was it this year? I'm not sure.
I didn't see the summary, but
Yeah.
every year has been a tremendous year.
I always tell the authors, bring someone with you, not just if you have to go to the John, but get up and walk around and meet the other
Oh, yeah.
authors. You
Yeah.
know, schmooze.
Great place to network.
Yeah, because somebody says, oh, I met Ursula, and this is what she's into. Let me hook you up with, and next thing you know, you've got another gig.
Exactly.
How long did it take for you folks? I mean, look at all these. This is the third one in the series. How long did it take?
We didn't. We worked intensely over a longer period of time, so we scheduled it. It was over a year.
That's
Took us
not
over
bad.
a year.
That's not. You've got 5 different people, and who did the editing?
We all did the editing, but our editing goddess is Stacy Longo. She and Rob Smales
They do
the editing. Yeah.
Was it fun for you doing this?
I love doing these series. We have 3 of them now, and they have just been a tremendous amount of fun because we get to focus on each other's stories. We learn more about who our friends are. I mean, the 5 of us have known each other for years,
Yeah.
but we keep discovering avenues about each other through these stories, and it's just wonderful. It's a lot of fun.
Are any of you into paranormal investigation?
Well, very loosely. One of my stories in there is about Sixth Sense. One Voice
Yeah.
is about the Sixth Sense, and it's set in Lima, Peru. My husband and I went to Lima, Peru a couple of years ago, and we went to the Mortuary de San Francisco. And so that inspired this story where a woman who hears voices, I mean, it's just her thing, she's always heard voices. She goes to church so she can pretend they're angels. So she's in Lima, and a blind beggar comes up to her. How does he see her? How does he know she's there?
Yeah.
But he finds her somehow, and he comes up to her and says, "Don't go to the mortuary."
Right.
So of course this young woman goes to the mortuary, because if she
Of course.
didn't, there would be no story.
No.
So she goes into the catacombs, and she's running away from this beggar. She goes into the catacombs, and it's a bizarre place. It's bins of bones, room after room full of bins of bones. It's unbelievable. And a little electric light bulb in these
Yeah.
dark and dusty cavernous spaces
Yeah.
beneath this magnificent cathedral.
Yeah.
So that is the mortuary. And this woman is down there, and her 6th sense kicks in, and she realizes that she is hearing voices.
Yeah.
So you have to read the story to find out what
yeah.
happens.
This is
but-
just so many good things in here, and let's see. Yeah, this was the one. Shudder with a woman who becomes lost in the catacombs beneath an ancient church, only to discover she's not alone.
She's not alone.
She's not alone. Step into the world of a brilliant grad student who creates a powerful new drug that pushes the imagination to its darkest edge.
That's David Daniels' story.
That's David
yeah.
Daniels. The creators, these are the authors, and of course Ursula's one of them, of Insanity Tales and Insanity Tales 2 and 3, Sense of Fear, bringing you 10 new tales from the darkness itself. When did you get interested in this type of writing?
So, my friends essentially pulled me in. I think that horror is so broad that it can entail the human drama, and I like to write about the human
Yeah.
drama, which you know very well in
Yeah.
reading so many of my novels. And I think the dark side of the human drama is what I focus on. So it wasn't that difficult or large a transition. It needed to be a little bit more poignant as to what was dark about the story. But I think the elements were always in there.
Were you like this as a child, interested in this?
Oh, yeah.
That type of thing?
Oh, yeah.
So, we probably talked about this before, but just to refresh everyone's memory, when did you start writing?
I wrote a lot as a child, but I got into high tech.
Yeah.
So I got into the sciences in college. I have a degree in physics and a master's in applied
You're great at
mathematics.
math, right?
Well, I used to be.
Oh, boy. Oh, yeah. So you weren't into the arts,
Not well. My mother was a pianist.
Yeah.
So we had music in the house. My uncle was an artist, an amateur artist. So we had, the arts around us all the time. But I kind of went into the sciences and had a long high tech career. And of course, engineering, computer engineering, requires a lot of writing. A lot of engineers don't like to do it, but it does
Sure.
require writing because you
Yeah.
need to tell people that don't understand the technology what you're doing.
Sure. I would.
So-
I wouldn't have
And,
a clue.
yeah, so, and when we retired, which was 7 years ago, this July,
You retired
7 years ago.
from your office work.
Yes.
Okay.
yes,
Not,
and
don't ever retire from writing.
I write full time now, but
Yeah.
when we retired, I wanted to do something that we could do anywhere.
Yeah.
So writing was the answer.
Yeah, you
and-
could have your laptop with you. Are you one of those authors that you keep like a little notepad or something beside you everywhere you go in case it comes up to you, or you just write it in your e-laptop?
I put it on my phone.
That's what I was going to say. This stuff drives me crazy. I don't know. I guess I'm weird. I don't want that umbilical cord. I don't need it. I've got email at home. I've got the regular phone. I know how to text now. I'm a big girl. Yeah, well, I got a millennial kid, right? And if I didn't learn how to text,
You wouldn't be able to communicate with your child, I know.
it's ridiculous.
I have one too.
Oh yeah, it's great. The thing is, this little phone here, that's all Jan needs. I can take pictures with this silly thing if I want to. Text, okay, it's not the most glamorous, it does the job. I'd rather have the books, you go into the waiting room, I was just talking with another author, you look around, they're all doing it. Look, sometimes I'll find someone with a book, and she'll be reading, I'll say, what you reading? So we share. So if I would bring this into the waiting room, wow, what is that? I'm like, oh, wait till I tell you
Insanity.
about this girl. So when you left the office world, when you were in the office world, did you know that you wanted to write?
Yeah, I was thinking about what I wanted to do
Yeah.
when we stopped working. We were
Yeah.
planning it. And writing was the natural thing.
Does your hubby write too, or no?
Well, he is very heavily engaged with Habitat for Humanity of the Greater Lowell area. He's
Okay.
actually volunteering with the crew, building his 12th house for them.
Wow.
12th house, yeah.
So
A
you
dozen.
two are really busy girl. Yeah.
And he has written a book on how to build a house. So
Is he getting that out?
they use it internally at Habitat as a
Okay.
how-to book. So
Mhm.
volunteers who are not familiar with a particular aspect of house building
Yeah.
can look at this book and get a sense of what they're going to be doing for the day. So it has a lot of value.
Did you ever go with him at all?
Oh,
See
yeah.
what they're doing?
But I like to cook for the cruise.
You're a
so
cook also?
I occasionally do a spread for the cruise.
What's your
I do-
favorite dish?
I actually do Thanksgiving for them.
You like to do that?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they deserve it. Moreover, it's what they're doing is just deserves a nice free
It
Thanksgiving
deserves a
meal.
good meal.
We're talking with Ursula Wong. She's here for an encore appearance, and she is the author, one of the many authors of Insanity Tales 3, Seasons of Shadow. And boy, you know what? Read this at 2 o'clock in the morning. I mean, I'm one of those people who's a night owl, and I'll start reading, midnight, 1, 2. This stuff, is going to be tough to go to sleep, but it's good stuff. Because, they're short stories.
Yeah.
And so there's another one coming, you said.
We haven't planned it yet, but yeah, that's going to be in the works fairly soon.
Ursula, how could people get a hold of your books?
Of course, on Amazon and on my website at ursulawong.wordpress.com. I have a blog, I have an email list. Come and visit and see what's going on.
Now, where are you going to be appearing next?
Oh, I've got a lot of things
You've been
coming
to
up.
Tatnock, right?
Oh, yes.
Good. Okay,
Yes,
yeah.
yes. So at the end of September 30th, I'm on an historical fiction panel at the Saylor Library in Lancaster.
Mhm.
And I am the only non-professor talking about historical fiction. So
Wow.
that should be a lot of fun. The
Oh,
panels
yeah,
are always a lot
sure.
of fun. I'll be at the Lowell Book Festival at Lowell High School on November 4th.
Mhm.
On November 18th, I'll be at the Thayer Library again doing a session on the secrets of self-publishing.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one.
That's a good one. Are you excited?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Great stuff.
Are
Great
you
stuff.
you go to fairs at all, or any kind of events, and then take part in them?
I try to get to a few.
I tell a lot of the authors starting them, I said, look, it may not make sense to you, it's an arts and crafts fair. However, you're probably going to be the only author sitting there. And so you're going to get a lot of attention.
Yeah.
So I said, when you're getting your feet wet, you want to get out there, right? So keep your mind open and go to arts and crafts fairs. And son of a gun, I mean, I've been to many of them, and I think maybe only one or two that I've been to actually have an author there who's written something. And it draws attention.
No, it's a great idea, and it's good for you too because it puts you in touch with potential readers. And that's important because you need to hone your skill and you need to hone your market. You need to understand your market. So absolutely, that is a great idea.
And that other book you showed us, that's now in pub. That's the you hold that one up again. It's the Amber
Wolf.
The Amber Wolf one. Let me see the back of it now. This is going to be continuation of Amber Wolf, right?
That is Amber Wolf. It's a second printing, but
Oh,
I am
okay.
working on the continuation of Amber Wolf.
You are on top of.
Yes, that's the Red Widow.
Wow.
And it takes that story, the Amber Wolf story, to 1948.
Yeah.
And it's what the Soviets are doing in Eastern Europe in 1948.
So you are going to have a sequel to this.
There'll be 2 books in the series, yeah. This one and the Red Widow.
Oh, this is great. When do you think the Red Widow will be done?
Well, my editor has it now, so it depends on how many
Yeah.
red underlines I get, and sometimes the pages are all red. But if I have relatively few, it'll be out fairly soon.
Look at this review. Harrowing, heroic, and at times poetic. David Daniel, author of Reunion and White Rabbit. That's for her next edition of Amber Wolf. But we're really also talking about, we're promoting Insanity Tales, the third one, Seasons of Shadow. Of all of the 3 that have now been in the series, was there one that you had a favorite working on of all of them?
I've got to say that Insanity Tales 3 was my favorite because it was our third anthology, so we knew each other, we knew how to do the job, we knew how to edit the stories,
Yeah.
and it was smooth and relatively pain-free, and we have a great collection of stories there. I
And
mean,
you all get along good, too.
we
right?
all get along good, yeah.
These are the stories, the short stories in this. Grab the issue downstairs too also. It's always good to read this. A Bee, that was about the girl that had the problem with bees, right? Blue Sequin by Ursula. Eat Your Vegetables, Stacy Longo. Toon Time, Vlad V. Collateral Damage by David Daniel. Tracks in the Snow, Bob Smales. One Voice, Ursula. Private Beach, Stacy Longo, The Somethings by Vlad V. Over the Gulfs of Dream, David Daniel. Do you think in the next issue you're going to have the same authors?
Probably, yeah.
You think you will all get together? And they're all working now probably to get this going.
It's just starting to bubble a little bit. We're taking a break because we all have our own projects as well. So,
Sure. Ursula, we've got about 2 minutes left. Is there anything else you wanted to share with us in your list before we promote you again and how they can reach you?
well, again, my website has it all. I have a link to the Storyside Consortium, to the 7 Bridge Writers Collective, for those of you who are interested in free Saturday sessions. And of course, what I'm doing is on ursulawong.wordpress.com.
And you just told us about a whole new group that started up in Lancaster.
Yes, the 7 Bridge Writers Collective.
7 Bridge Writing. When do they meet?
The board meets regularly. We offer educational sessions to the
Okay.
community at large. So you have to go to the website to see when the next one is. But
Okay.
once a month we have a free Saturday seminar, and they are excellent.
There you go. How's that sound? That sound fun? Now, about a year's time, we may have Insanity Tales 4. Am I right?
Well, my friends may object, but we're going to try to put one out in the next couple of years, certainly.
Oh, wow. It's going to be good. You're going to keep the eyeball, right?
I think we're on an eye theme.
The spooky one. Yeah, dark with that eye looking right at you. I mean, apropos.
How can you go wrong?
Ursula, I'm glad we finally got together. We got to get our schedules
Oh,
straight.
pleasure to be here.
And we're going to have you back on again.
I hope
No matter
so.
what you don't have to wait for your next, whatever's coming up, come on. We'll talk about it. We'll get you out there again. We'll talk about the spooky and Amber Wolf.
You're a dear.
So are you. That's why we would love to have her on. And she's a wonderful author. Okay, we'll see you next time on Be My Guest.